What is good? Fuck, good. Everyone. Shoobs here. This is so scuffed. What is good, everyone? Shoobs here. Today we're going to be taking a dive into the big world of tactile switches. Obviously, the switches I have here are not all the tactiles in the world, but the selection should give a general overview of the many popular tactiles in the market, as well as an overview on some of the popular Franken switches, notably the ones using halo stems. Let me separate these switches and lay them out so you can take a little gander. First section are the switches that are manufactured by JWK. I said this before in my linear overview, but I'll say it again. All JWK switches are not the same. I repeat, not the same. I normally don't get ticked off unless you're talking shit about my Hololive addiction, but this is one thing that irks me. Sorry about that. Let's get into the switches. So what we have here in this section are Kiwis, Dragonfruits, Pewters, T1s, Okomochis, Lilacs, Navies, and Moyu Blacks. Moyu Blacks are under the Everglide name and also known as Everglide Black Jades. I'll give a little TLDR of the thing with these JWK switches. Essentially, JWK is the manufacturer of the switches for many different companies who sell these switches under different names. Some of these companies have their own molds, but it is still manufactured by JWK. Companies such as Duroc, Everglide, C3, and ThickDoc all produce switches through the manufacturer, JWK. That was easy, right? In the second section, we have the Outemu manufacturer switches, which are the Gazoo Boba U4Ts and the Outemu Sky Blues. In the third section, we have the Cherry switches, which are the legendary Cherry Mx Browns and Ergo Clears, which are just MX Clears with lighter spring weight. In the fourth section, we have just the rest of them. I only had one switch from each of the manufacturers here, so I just lumped them together. We have the Gatoron produced Zealios V2s, Kale produced Blueberries made by NK, Novel Keys, and the glorious Pandas. Finally, for our last and final fifth section, we have the Holy Franken switches, which are the Holy Pandas, Holy Bobas, Zykos, Bykos. Oh wait, I have this messed up. Zykos, Bykos, Pacos, and Holy T1s. Essentially, this is taking the housing of different switches and throwing in a Halo True or Halo Clear stem to make it a new switch. Here's a picture of the stems of the switches that we're going to be testing today. You can notice that some of them do have longer or extended poles compared to the regular standard length. This makes the bottom out or the travel distance slightly less and makes it bottom out faster. It also affects the sound a little bit, and yeah. Here we're going to be doing a little stem wobble test of these switches. Kiwis have minimal wobble. Dragonfruits have a little bit more wobble. Actually, it's like about the same as Kiwis. The Okomochis are pretty good. Lilacs. Oh, what the Lilacs have a little bit more wobble, it seems like, from what I can tell. Navies have a little bit of wobble. The T1s. Oh, the T1s have a bit of wobble. Pewters. Seems good. Moyu Blacks. Very nice. Browns. It's a little bit of a wobbly boy. Ergo Clears as well, a little bit of a wobbly boy. Outemu Sky Blues, nice. Gazoo Boba U4Ts, oh yeah, that's nice. Zealios, a little bit of wobble. Blueberries, a bit of wobble. Holy Pandas, nice. Holy Bobas, also nice. Zykos, nice. Bykos, nice. Glorious Pandas, a little bit more than these, but still pretty good. Pacos, a bit of wobble, and Holy T1s also have a bit of wobble. I mean, that's just from like me testing them out right now, so, and by batch, the housing can be different, so just take this as a grain of salt, you know. For the sound test, like always, we know the drill. All the switches will be tested on the Z position, as the position of the switch on the case affects the sound heavily, and just be mindful that everyone's case, plate, room acoustics, and lubing technique is different. I'll be showing these switches stock first and then lubed second. I will also indicate if the switches have been filmed, since some need film and others don't. The case we are using is the Mode 80 with aluminum plate, all gaskets installed, and the lube that we used for the switches was Tribos's 3203, avoiding the legs and the deskies if they were filmed. That was a mouthful. Let's get started. Okay, just a disclaimer before we start with my tactility opinion. A lot of different factors can affect the perceived tactility of a Switch. I personally don't look at force graphs because I'm a smooth brain individual and I just go by the feel of the Switch, so this might not be the most accurate. Just look at this ranking as a vague idea in my own opinion, and my opinion might be just wrong, you know? So in terms of tactility, I just put most tactile and least tactile with middle, and it's like hard to gauge the tactility, right? But it's obvious that or not obvious, but in my opinion, that the Zykos and the Bykos are the most tactile to me. Then Zealios are also very tactile. Everything in this category that are bunched up is like very similar in terms of tactility. It's just like minute differences for me at least. The Zealios are right there. Moyu Blacks are pretty tactile. The Holy Bobas and the Holy Pandas seems pretty equally tactile. Boba U4Ts are right under there. Glorious Pandas are right under the Boba U4Ts. Holy T1s and Blueberries are it diverges a little bit from the tactility of this category and starts entering the middle. And T1s and Okomochis are in that as well, and as well as the Pacos and the Kiwis. The Kiwis have the T1 stems, but the wipe housing, that's UHMWPE, sort of makes it less tactile to me personally. It might be because of the smoothness that it adds, but you know, I mean, that's just what I feel. The Ergo clears are right underneath the Kiwis, in my opinion. I keep saying in my opinion, but I gotta keep saying it so people don't get mad. It's like, no, that's not right, that's not right. I mean, that's what I'm feeling, man. I mean, I can't change what I'm feeling, you know. Just went on a weird tangent there, but basically, this category right here is somewhat the manufacturer or like the brands call Ergo clear like feel. And in my opinion, it's very close, but it doesn't really match the tactility of the Ergo clears exactly. It feels a little less to me. The Outemu blues, not Outemu blue, Outemu skies, the lilacs, and the navies are within this similar categories in terms of tactility. The navies are differentiated by the fact that the pole is longer than standard, and the bottoming out feel sort of feels similar to that of the U4Ts and the Halo Franken switches because of the longer pole. I really like the navies actually. It's a very interesting switch. It sounds and feels really good. The Dragonfruits, I feel like it's a little less than these guys. Still not bad, but the wipe housing makes it a little bit feel less tactile again with like the Kiwis. And you know, the Pewters and the Browns are basically in the very thin line between becoming a linear and being tactile. But as someone that also enjoys some like typing on linears for a long period of time, these are a pretty good option. And Browns aren't necessarily bad. They sound pretty good in my opinion. The nylon housing, or the secret nylon blend of the cherry switches with the light tactility, it's not a bad switch. That's a hot take, but you know. So in terms of the sound profile of these switches, it's obviously subjective. Not everyone's gonna hear the same. This is just what I heard personally. I found that the Boba housings created a very deep sound compared to the others. Around this category was pretty similar in terms of how deep the sound was. Some nylon was more deep than others, and some of the Franken switches were more deep. But this is just a general list. You can't really tell how deep a switch is gonna sound unless you actually try it on your own board. All I know for certain is that wipe is going to be clacky. The wipe is the highest pitched material, obviously, although it's smooth. The Dragonfruits aren't. We don't know if it's wipe. They didn't actually say it, but people are assuming, and from like the sounds I hear, I think there's wipe properties inside of this switch. So in terms of pricing, Zykos and Bykos will run you around $2 per switch. Pacos will run you around $1.20. Holy Bobas and Holy T1s around $1.15. Holy Pandas around $1.10. Zealios around $1. Moyu Blacks around 90 cents, Pewters around 75 cents, Glorious Pandas around 70 cents, Blueberries, Kiwis, Okomochis, Dragonfruits, and Navies, and Lilacs are all around 65 cents, Boba U4T is around 60 cents, T1s around 55 cents, Sky Blues are around 50 cents, Ergo Clears around 45 cents, and Browns around 35 cents. So what is my verdict? Try them all, I guess. I mean, it's really hard to gauge what you'll like without trying certain switches. I think the best way to see what sort of level of tactility you want and the type of tactility is to try switches within each category. So try the medium tactile switches, the high tactile switches, and the low tactile switches to get a feel for what you want, and then you can look at the materials to get a feel of what sound profile you're looking for. But in terms of my recommendations, since everyone always asks, Tubes, what's your favorite? I don't really have okay, for real, like, I really like the boba housing, so it's like really nice and deep. So my pick at like a fairly relatively budget price would always be the boba U4Ts. When did the browns get there? But there's other options. T1s are also a good budget switch. It's not really budget, but the price of tactiles is much higher than say linears. Linears you can get Gator yellows for really cheap, while tactiles, like if you're looking for like a premium feeling one, you're gonna have to spend some money, or at least that's what I've been seeing. But there might be different tactiles that are cheaper that perform really well. I haven't really looked into those too much, but for what I have right here, Boba U4Ts, why do I keep saying H1s? Thinking H1s, it's T1s. These two, pretty good. For more premium options, Franken switching is a very viable option, albeit it's very fucking expensive. Okay, so like if you really want to know what my favorite is, then it's going to be the Bykos. This sounds pretty crazy. It's really, really expensive. I really also like the Moyu Black sound, as well as the Navies. So, there's that. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for checking out the video. This was a long one to make. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for all the support. Can't believe we're almost at 10K. That's crazy. And I'll see you guys in the next one.